And Mr. Raskin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I want to thank my colleague, Mr. Schmidt, for his very thoughtful comments. And, you know, but I've noted that we've been here for a few hours, and the three majority witnesses have not uttered a single word against anti-Semitic violence and rhetoric on the right. My colleague, Dan Goldman, said repeatedly, he, like all other Democrats, denounced anti-Semitism on the extreme left, on the extreme right, and somehow there's this troubling silence which emerges when it comes to that. And I want to try to get to the bottom of it. But I would go...
Will the gentleman yield for 5 seconds?
Sure.
Thank you. I've clearly stated that when there is this kind of behavior on the right, I am opposed, and I have called it out in the past.
And I heard that, and I thank you very much. And I was referring to the witnesses and not to you. Okay. I'm very pleased with everything I've heard from the dais today. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You know, part of me thinks maybe this is just a partisan problem, that they think that it somehow breaks from Republican ranks if they acknowledge right-wing anti-Semitism in America or anywhere else on the world. But I mean, what if Joe Biden had invited a neo-Nazi Holocaust revisionist to come have dinner with him and Kanye West, and then didn't apologize, say he would never do it again, but that's just accepted as a norm? What if Joe Biden had found very fine people on both sides of an anti-Semitic riot that began with a march in front of a synagogue 15 minutes from where my sister lives in Charlottesville, with people chanting, "Jews will not replace us, Jews will not replace us," and Heather Heyer was killed, and all we hear from Donald Trump is they're very fine people on both sides. The worst anti-Semitic mass shooting in American history in Pittsburgh at the Tree of Life synagogue, done by apparently a Lone Ranger neo-Nazi, but we get dismissive language like from Mr. Schneider saying, well, we really shouldn't be worried about a couple of neo-Nazis living in the basement. I mean, my constituents are afraid to go to synagogue because of neo-Nazis living in the basement, not because of the American Federation of Teachers, not because of the AAUP, not because of the Associated Press. So somehow the people who have great anti-Semitism detectors in major media institutions can't see what it means to have neo-Nazis at large in America threatening people's lives. And people are afraid. And it's costing Jewish institutions a lot of money to try to protect themselves against this. So, Mr. Nosenchuk, you were working with the President Biden in the White House. I remember clearly the U.S. national strategy to counter anti-Semitism, actual real steps to move forward, and we couldn't get, forgive me, Mr. Chairman, it sounds like a partisan point. I'm not trying to make it a partisan point. We couldn't get bipartisan cooperation on doing all these things. I wonder if you would say a word about what's in there, but more importantly, why is it that some people just want to see anti-Semitism on one side, whether it's the extreme right or the extreme left? But I would go beyond that, because there's anti-Semitism in the center, in the government. I mean, I don't know exactly what Elon Musk is, but that guy used a fascist salute. And when people protested about it, he sent out a text making fun of the whole thing. Some people, he's using Nazi war criminals to make a joke. Some people were Goebbels down anything. Stop goring your enemies. His pronouns would have been he, Himmler. Bet you did not see that coming. Okay, so it's a big joke to Elon Musk. How come we can't get across-the-board denunciation of that? Why must it be a partisan football? If you would take a few seconds on that, Mr. Nosenchuk.
Sure, thank you, Ranking Member Raskin. First, on the national strategy, what I'd like to say, and I brought it with me as well, because I had an opportunity to both have input into it before it was released in 2023 when I was outside of government, and then when I was inside of government following September 2023, I was very much involved in implementing it. It contains more than 100 recommendations for a whole-of-government approach to addressing the problem of anti-Semitism, and every agency in the federal government that had any stake in addressing the problem, from the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Education, to the Department of Defense, to the Department of State, all looked at what they could do to effectively address the problem of
and to move forward. And let me intervene here just to ask you, why is it that groups that are at least nominally organized around anti-Semitism will not call out anti-Semitism in the government, like with Ed Martin, who embraces a neo-Nazi who wears a Hitler mustache, and he defends him. Why can we not get the groups who are nominally organized around this to say anything about it?
Right. I mean, as somebody who was a nonprofit leader in the Jewish community, I was very insistent on calling out anti-Semitism on the right or on the left, wherever it
or in the center, or in the government,
or in the center, for that matter as well. And I also said that most of the domestic terror is originating from the anti-Semitism on the right. That is a fact. And when I was in New York, we had instances where there were bomb threats that were foiled, that were white supremacists who were coming into Manhattan to try to blow up a synagogue. And so it's critical to be even-handed, as Mr. Goldman said, and as others have said, about calling this out wherever it arises.
All right, I thank you. I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I recognize the gentleman from the great state of Texas, Mr. Gill.